Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get right into it this morning. A Monadson resident sentenced to 2 decades in prison for production of material depicting the sexual exploitation of a minor. U.S. Attorney's Office, Western District of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A former resident of Monadson, Pennsylvania, has been sentenced in federal court to 20 years in federal prison to be followed by 10 years of supervised release on his conviction of production of material depicting the sexual exploitation of a minor. Acting United States Attorney Troy Rivetti announced today. United States District Judge Christy Criswell imposed the sentence on Stefan Sweeney, 36. According to information presented to the court, Sweeney produced a video depicting the sexual exploitation of a 13-year-old girl. In imposing the sentence, Judge Wingdon stated that a 20-year term of imprisonment reflected a balance between the defendant's acceptance of responsibility and the serious nature of his crimes. Assistant United States Attorney Damar Moulton prosecuted this case on behalf of the government. Acting United States Attorney Rivetti commanded the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Kennedy Township Police Department, Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, and other local police departments for the investigation leading to the successful prosecution of Sweeney. An Erie resident sentenced to 12 years in prison for distribution, and attempted distribution of child sexual abuse material. U.S. Attorney's Office of the Western District of Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania. A resident of Erie, Pennsylvania has been sentenced in federal court to 12 years in prison, to be followed by 10 years of supervised release and ordered to pay restitution in the amount of $48,000 to 7 identified victims on his conviction of distributing and attempting to distribute material depicting the sexual exploitation of minors. United States Attorney Eric G. Olshan announced on the 13th. United States District Judge Susan Paradise Baxter imposed the sentence on Michael Paul Ambrose, 44, on January 10th, 2025. According to information presented to the court in and around November 22, 2022, Ambrose distributed and attempted to distribute images depicting prepubescent minors engaging in sexually explicit conduct. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christian A. Tarbold prosecuted this case on behalf of the government. U.S. Attorneys Olsham commanded the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Erie Police Departments, and Erie County Detectives Bureau for the investigation leading to the successful prosecution of Ambrose. Sup, Muff. Hi, Temper. Sup, Charbaddy. Hi, James. Let's read about this one, shall we? Repeat and dangerous sex offender sentenced to 20 years in prison after traveling from Arkansas to Albany to sexually abuse an 11-year-old. Wednesday, January 29th, 2025, for immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, Northern District of New York, Albany, New York. Kyle Biswell, age 39, of Prairie Grove, Arkansas, was sentenced to 20 years in prison to be followed by a lifetime term of supervised release after a federal judge determined that he is a repeat and dangerous sex offender against minors. United States Attorney Carl B. Friedman and Craig L. Tomaroli, special agent in charge of the Albany field office of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, made the announcement. In July 2024, Biswell pled guilty to interstate travel with intent to engage in illicit sexual conduct and transportation of child pornography. After his plea, the United States Attorney's Office and the U.S. Probation Office and the FBI obtained evidence that Biswell had previously sexually abused an infant, which established that Biswell is a repeat and dangerous sex offender against minors, significantly enhancing his sentencing range under the U.S. sentencing guidelines. Faced with the evidence amassed by the government, Biswell informed the prosecution that he would waive an evidentiary hearing and his objection to being sentenced as a repeat and dangerous sex offender against minors in exchange for an agreed upon sentence of 20 years of incarceration and a lifetime term of supervised release. According to the plea agreement and documents submitted to the court, Biswell admitted that between January and April of 2023, he communicated with an individual he believed was the mother of an 11-year-old girl through an internet-based social networking application and used his cellular phone. Over the course of those communications, Biswell expressed his interest in engaging in sexual contact with and impregnating the 11-year-old, and ultimately purchased airfare to travel from his home in Arkansas to Albany, New York, with the intent to engage in illicit sexual contact with the child on April 8th, 2023. Upon his arrival in the Capital Region on April 8th, 2023, Biswell was arrested by FBI agents and admitted that he had traveled from Arkansas to Albany for the purpose of engaging in sexual acts with a child that he believed to be at 11 years old. Biswell further admitted that he brought child pornography with him on his cell phone. The cell phone was subsequently searched, and the FBI found to contain numerous videos and images depicting child pornography, including several videos depicting sexual abuse and rape of children under the age of 5. In sentencing, Biswell, United States District Judge Ann M. Nardaki found that he had previously engaged in oral to genital contact with an infant, making him a repeat and dangerous sex offender against minors. In addition to a 22-year term of incarceration and a lifetime of supervised release, Judge Nardaki imposed restitution in the amount of $9,000 and a special assessment of $200. When Bidwell is released from prison, he will be required to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. 20 years? Yeah, that's not good enough for me. He should lose his fucking life. They needed to be prosecuted and sentenced to prison without a chance of getting out. Absolutely, Muff. Absolutely. Oh, hell no. An infant? Yeah, he should have been executed. Well, thanks for the like, Alexis. I appreciate it. Exactly, Muff. I feel the same way every time I read about these cases. I feel the same way. I want to freak out. He honestly should have lost his life. He likes engaging in sexual contact with prepubescent minors, infant children. 20 years and a $9,000 fine. That's going to make everything better, right? Yeah, that would be justice, I guess. I just say fuck all that shit. Give him a one-way ticket to meet God and be judged instantaneously. Let God handle it. Syracuse man sentenced to 168 months for distribution, receiving, and possession of child pornography. Friday, January 24th, 2025. A Syracuse, New York. Lawrence Boone, age 28 of Syracuse, was sentenced on the 24th to 168 months in federal prison for multiple counts of distribution, receiving, and possession of child pornography. United States Attorney Carla B. Friedman Eric Keegan, special agent in charge of the Buffalo Field Office of Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI, and New York State Police Superintendent Stephen G. James made the announcement. On several occasions from August through November of 2023, Boone sent and received images and videos of child pornography from other users on a smartphone messaging application. At the same time of his arrest, Boone possessed over 3,000 unique files consisting of child pornography on 4 different electronic devices. The files discovered on Boone's devices included images of prepubescent minors, images that involve sadistic and misogynistic conduct, and images involving the sexual abuse of toddlers and infants. United States Chief District Judge Brenda K. Sanas also ordered Boone to serve a 15-year term of post-incarceration supervised release and to forfeit the electronic devices used to commit the offenses. Ooh, we can't have his phones back. Boone will be required to register as a sex offender after his release from prison. A Mexican national residing in Georgia charged with attempted production of child pornography and attempted transfer of obscene material to a minor. Thursday, January 30th, 2025, for immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, Middle District of Louisiana. United States Attorney Ronald G. Gates Jr. announced that a federal grand jury recently returned a 2-count indictment charging Victorino de la Cruz, age 42, of Mableton, Georgia, with attempted production of child pornography and attempted transfer of obscene material to a minor. De la Cruz appeared for his arraignment and pled not guilty to the pending charges. According to the indictment, between August 8, 2024 and November 22, 2024, De La Cruz knowingly attempted to employ, use, persuade, entice, or coerce an individual he believed was a minor to engage in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing child pornography. Additionally, according to the indictment, on August 11, 2024, De La Cruz, using a means of interstate commerce, knowingly attempted to transfer obscene material to an individual he believed he had not attained the age of 16 years old. Attempted production of child pornography is punishable by a maximum penalty of 15 to 30 years in prison, depending on sentencing enhancements. Attempted transfer of obscene material to a minor is punishable by a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. De La Cruz also faces potential sex offender registration, supervised release, restitution, and monetary penalties. It just doesn't ever seem to be good enough for me. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. When they say let God handle it, send them to God and let him handle it. Yep. Yeah. Horrible. And it's happening every single day to children all around the world, and it's bullshit. It don't add up, does it, Muff Muff? Not at all. It doesn't add up, and it never will. Baton Rouge man pleads guilty to possession of child pornography. For immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, Middle District of Louisiana. United States Attorney Ronald C. Gates Jr. announced that James S. Berland, age 69, of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, pleaded guilty before U.S. District Judge John W. DeGravels to possession of child pornography. Berland was remanded to the custody of the U.S. Marshal's Office pending sentencing. His conviction is punishable by a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, a $250,000 fine, and up to a lifetime period of supervised release, which includes sex offender registration requirements. According to admissions made during his plea on November 11th, 2022, Berglund uploaded a file containing an image of child pornography to his internet-based cloud storage account. A subsequent investigation identified that between that date and April 9th, 2024, Berglund possessed at least 150 additional files containing images of child pornography in his internet-based cloud storage account and on some of his personal computers and storage devices. Some of the images of child pornography depicted prepubescent minors and minors under the age of 12. But he's 69 years old. So, and it's not justice. I don't care what anybody says. It's not justice. In those foreign countries, you can steal something and get killed. But it's okay to mess with children. You can get more time here for drugs than it is for messing with children. Everything is fucked up. It is. Yeah. Muff, exactly. My predator only got 15 years, but came home after 9, and I was 9 years old when it happened. Wow. But street justice ultimately caught up to him. Well, I'm glad he got justice somehow. So you're a survivor of sexual abuse, huh, Muff? I'm sorry that happened to you, sweetheart. All right, Temper. Most people don't usually hang out this long on these live streams because there's too much information for them. They can't handle it, Missouri man sentenced to 14 years in prison for trying to persuade minors to engage in sex acts online. Wednesday, January 29, 2025, for immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Missouri. St. Louis, U.S. District Judge Henry E. Autry on Wednesday sentenced the man who tried to persuade minors to engage in sex acts online to 14 years in prison. Judge Autry also ordered Jason Michael Enke to pay a social assessment of $5,300 that will go to victims of child sexual abuse material. Once released from prison, he will be on supervised release for life. From August to October of 2023, Enke sent a series of sexually explicit messages during online chat sessions and via social media to 5 people who identified themselves online as minors. He tried to persuade the minors to engage in sexual conduct and shared a video of himself and a 16-year-old engaging in sex acts. In November 2023, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the NCMEC, notified the FBI's St. Louis office that Enke had sent a video containing child pornography to an Instagram user who listed their age as 15. FBI agents performed a court-approved search of Enke's home near Bourbon, Missouri, and found videos containing child sexual abuse material on his electronic devices. We thank the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for sharing tips in this case and others, said Acting Special Agent in Charge Chris Crocker of FBI St. Louis Division. As a result, FBI St. Louis, the Crawford County Sheriff's Office, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Missouri have taken another predator off the streets so he can no longer prey on children. Enke, 45 years old, of Crawford County, Missouri, pleaded guilty in U.S. District Court in St. Louis to one count of receiving of child pornography, 1 count of distribution of child pornography, and 1 count of coercion and enticement of a minor. So he got 5 years for each charge. Big fucking deal. Big deal. He'll be 60 years old by the time he gets out. Plenty of time to get out and hurt more children. It's bullshit. It's not nearly enough, is it, Muff Muff? How about this one? Let's see. Let's see if this one is good enough. You let me know if you think the sentence is good enough just by me reading the title of it, okay? Poplar Bluff man sentenced to 30 years in prison for recording his rape of minor. Does that seem like a good term? 30 years for recording the rape of a minor? His raping of a minor. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with the justice system? They are for the wrong reasons. They want to catch drug dealers and drug users instead of catching these damn pedos. Yeah. I don't know if you heard it when I said this a while ago, but my brother-in-law is doing 36 years in prison for drug trafficking. On the same day my brother-in-law got sentenced to 36 fixed years in prison, in federal prison, the parasite that was sentenced before him was in federal court for his 5th time of distribution, receiving, and production of child pornography. He got 5 years. 5 years. This dude's already out of prison, and my brother-in-law still sits there. I'm not condoning drug trafficking. You shouldn't do it, but come the fuck on, people. Friday, January 31st, 2025, this morning. U.S. Attorney's Office, Eastern District of Missouri, Cape Girardeau, U.S. District Judge Sarah E. Pitlicky, on Friday, sentenced a man who recorded his rape of a minor with an intellectual disability. Oh my God, dude. To 30 years in prison. In March 2024, the 17-year-old victim's mother contacted the Poplar Bluff Police Department about Jason R. Hicks Simpson. The victim told investigators that Hicks Simpson had been sexually abusing her since she was 5 years old. His plea agreement says, she also said Hicks Simpson threatened to kill her and her kittens if she did not keep the secret. Hicks Simpson told police that it had only happened once several months earlier. Investigations found video dating back to May of 2023 on his phone, the plea agreement says. Hicks Simpson of Poplar Bluff, 46, pleaded guilty to the United States court in Cape Girardeau in October to 1 count of sexual exploitation of a minor. Hicks Simpson will now be transferred to state court to face charges there. Yeah, I don't know if they. I know what you mean, but he got popped with like fucking 80 pounds of meth, fucking 40 pounds of heroin, fucking $180,000 in cash. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if he got a bad. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. Sorry, that one kind of hit me hard. Project Safe Childhood Sentencings in Columbus. Let's read about this one. Maybe we'll read about it. Project Safe Childhood Sentencings in Columbus, Wednesday, January 29th, 2025. For immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, Middle District of Georgia. Columbus, Georgia. A Harris County, Georgia resident who engaged in criminal sexual activity with a middle schooler and a former contractor at Fort Moore, guilty of possessing hundreds of files of child sexual abuse material, or CSAM. On his phone were both sentenced to federal court this week, resulting in Project Safe Childhood investigations. Patrick John Irvin, 22, of Shiloh, Georgia, was sentenced to serve 120 months, so 10 years, in prison, to be followed by 10 years of supervised release on January 28th. Irvine previously pled guilty to one count of transportation with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity on October 15th, 2024. Taylor, 28, of Forston, Georgia, was sentenced to serve 97 months, so not even 10 years, in prison, to be followed by 10 years of supervised release on January 28th. Taylor previously pled guilty to one count of possession of child pornography on October 15th, 2024. Both defendants will have to register as sex offenders upon their release from prison. U.S. District Judge Clay Land presided over the cases. There is no parole in federal court. Our office has zero tolerance for people who prey on children, and we will use every resource at our disposal to investigate and prosecute Project Safe Childhood cases, said Acting U.S. Attorney C. Chanel Booker. Both cases demonstrate how law enforcement and community partners are helping us hold sex offenders accountable. How is that? Then they're doing 10 years. How is that holding them accountable? So the one piece of shit's 28. So he'll be 38 by the time he gets back out of prison. Plenty of time for him to make more victims. And the other one's 22. Oh, yeah, he'll be out right in prime time to be a good fucking child molester. You know what I mean? Hitting his prime time. Fucking pieces of shit. If your office had a zero tolerance policy for these people, you would have gave them life in prison without parole. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Muff. I 100% agree. He could have been caught with 1 million pounds of methamphetamine and heroin, and it's still not as bad as somebody messing with a child. Yep. The system is doing it too. They are also with the child exploitation. Oh, well, I still don't think that as bad as somebody doing something to a child. I agree, Muff, 100%. They're not being held accountable. They're going to keep doing it until street justice happens. I'm down. 100%, Muff. I got you, girl. With a victim-centered approach, the FBI will continue working with law enforcement partners to hold those who choose to prey on our most vulnerable citizens accountable, said FBI Atlanta Acting Special Agent in Charge Sean Burke. These cases show how local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies are working together to fight for the safety of our children, said Harris County Sheriff Mike Jolly. According to court documents and statements referenced in court in the Irvine cases, sometime in mid-March 2024, Irvine met 12-year-old Jane Doe on Snapchat and then continued to communicate through Snapchat, FaceTime, and text messages over the next several weeks. Irvine made plans with Jane Doe to travel approximately 4 hours from his home to Harris County to a meeting place near her home in Alabama. They met on the night of March 23rd, 2024, and on March 24th, 2024. Irvine texted Jane Doe to start packing. I'll get you next weekend. Irvine returned to Jane Doe's Alabama residence on the evening of Friday, March 29th, 2024, and drove her to Georgia. Jane Doe's family members reported her missing the next day. Jane Doe's mother acquired her daughter's cell phone records from AT&T and discovered a high frequency of calls between the victim and a number she did not recognize, which was Irvine's phone number. She attempted to call and text Irvine's number and finally got a response. Defendant: sorry, I'm at work. Is everything okay? Mom: no, I need to talk to you. I'm the victim's mother. I'm blank's mother. Please answer. Defendant: victim's first name. Who? Mom: why is my 12-year-old calling the number multiple times late at night if you are old enough to be working? It's all over my call AT&T call logs. Defendant responds with, we are going to hang out. We were going to hang out. Then I found out how old she was, and I haven't talked to her since. Is everything okay? Mom says, you need to call me. The police will be calling soon. Defendant: sorry, I'm at work and can't call right now. After identifying the subscriber of this number was Irvine, the Harris County Sheriff's Office was notified and dispatched to Irvine's residence. Upon arrival, Irvine emerged shirtless from the house and initially denied Jane Doe was in the house, but then stated that she had just gotten out of the shower. Jane Doe escaped out of a window and was found hiding in the woods. According to court documents and statements referenced in court in the Taylor case, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the NCMEC, received a cyber tip on July 17, 2022 from a social media platform X concerning user Starry Breeders 04, who had uploaded a file of child pornography on the platform. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation and Harris County Sheriff's Office discovered Taylor was the user and was employed as a contractor at Fort Moore. Working with Fort Moore's Criminal Investigation Division, Taylor was located, and he admitted to agents that he uploaded images of child pornography to X. Agents found several files of child sexual abuse material, or CSAM, on his phone. Taylor estimated he had approximately 50 videos of children engaging in sexual acts on his device. 30 years? Yeah. For kidnapping and rape, and he's 52 years old by the time he gets out? Yeah. Where's the justice in that shit? There ain't none. There ain't none. They're not being held accountable. They're going to keep doing it until street justice happens. Yep. They act like they work together to protect, right? Yeah. Criminal complaint charges Baltimore City man with sexual exploitation of a child and receiving a child sexual abuse material. Monday, January 27th, 2025, for immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, District of Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland. On Monday, January 27th, 2025, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Maryland filed a federal criminal complaint charging Dazon Darren, 32, of Baltimore, with sexual exploitation of a child and receiving child sexual abuse material. Eric L. Barron, U.S. Attorney of the District of Maryland, announced the complaint with Special Agent in Charge William J. Belgrano of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Baltimore Field Office, and Chief Robert McCallahone, Baltimore County Police Department. According to the affidavit in support of the criminal complaint, investigators obtained search warrants for Darren's phones and online accounts, which contain child sexual abuse material. Additionally, the affidavit further describes how Darren used Cash App to pay a minor victim to send videos of himself engaged in sexually explicit conduct. Darren paid the victim for the videos between December 23rd and March 2020, December 2023 and March 2024. The affidavit also shows that Darren received other child sexual abuse material files, including some that depicted prepubescent minors. A criminal complaint is I don't care. I'm not reading it. If convicted, Darren faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years or a maximum sentence of 30 years in federal prison for sexual exploitation of a child. Additionally, Darren could receive a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years and a maximum of 20 years in federal prison for receiving of child abuse material. Actual sentences for federal crimes are typically less than the maximum penalties. Why? It should be the maximum penalty every fucking time. Predator thought everything was all good when he got out of jail or prison, but it wasn't. I don't know who did it, but it got done. Maybe it was another victim because we do grow up. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Would you be willing to come up on panel sometime and interview me or interview? Can I interview you sometime and we talk about your case if you want? Muff. You're obviously pretty comfortable talking about it. I just think everybody's story needs to be heard. Former Gilman teacher sentenced to 35 years in federal prison for child sexual abuse. I'm a nervous person. That's why I speak so hard on it. Or I beg other people to do it. But I will. I work a lot. But we can set that up. All right. Sweet, Muff. I don't know if you've ever told your story publicly before, but after I did the first time, I felt a lot better about it. Yeah, mostly when I'm back, other people, it just triggered me just now. So I took a break. I'm still at work, but we can set it up. Sounds good, Muff. You want to just email me? You want to just email me and we can talk about it? Set up a date and all that. That'd be good. So let's learn about this teacher, shall we? I don't know. This one was just seen in court on Tuesday the 21st. Okay, it's
in Colorado?
No, it's not Colorado. In Maryland.
Just got busted yesterday in Colorado.
Oh. So that's the beginning part of my email, and it's at gmail.com. Get to know 208 at gmail.com. I went through a hell of a lot of counseling, and I ruined a lot of relationships. That's all part of dealing with it, man. Yeah. I know what you mean, sweetheart. I really do. I really do. Former Gilman teacher sentenced to 35 in federal prison for child sexual abuse. Tuesday, January 1st, 2025, for immediate release, U.S. Attorney's Office, District of Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland. On Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, U.S. District Judge James K. Brender sentenced Christopher Kenji Bendman, 40, of Baltimore, Maryland, to 35 years in federal prison, followed by a lifetime supervised release. After a 3-day trial on August 28, 2024, a federal jury found the defendant guilty of 5 counts of sexual exploitation of a child, 3 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material, and 1 count of cyber stalking. Eric L. Barron, U.S. Attorney of the District of Maryland, announced the sentence with Special Agent in charge William J. Belbongo of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Baltimore Field Office, Chief Robert McCallahone, Baltimore County Police Department, and Baltimore County State's Attorney Scott Schallenberger. According to the evidence presented at trial, from approximately September 16, 2017 to February 9, 2019, the defendant, a former teacher at the Gilman School in Baltimore, produced multiple videos of a minor male. Additionally, Bendan engaged in sexually explicit conduct with the minor male, who was one of his students. The victim was 16 and 17 years old at this time. Law enforcement found these same videos stored on the defendant's iCloud, resulting in possession of child sexual abuse material charge. In addition, as detailed at trial, between May and December of 2022, the defendant cyberstalked the same victim by sending him electronic cell phone messages. Bendan demanded that the victim remain in contact and send him explicit images of himself. The defendant threatened to make sexually explicit images of the victim public if he did not comply. Evidence at trial also established that on February 3rd, 2023, the date of the defendant's arrest, he possessed multiple depictions of child sexual abuse material on multiple electronic devices. Crazy shit.
Look at the one in Colorado.
I don't even know if it'll be on here. And anytime I try to type anything in like that, any specific shit, it gets all fucked up. But what's in Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
He's a teacher, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can just do it like this. I still have trust issues. I won't see male counselor, and I can barely go see my male doctor. You know what I mean? Bad thing about it is it also involved the predator's grandson, and I don't know where he is or anything about him at this point. But it was my mom's ex-boyfriend, but she jumped to defend quickly. Wow. Messing with a child, I feel it's the same as taking someone's life. Why do they give them chances? DGK, I've been back and forth. I did get your email. Thank you. I will try to reach you by phone soon. Okay, sounds good. Just text me first, Charbaddy, so I know it's you, because I won't answer a phone number I don't recognize. And I do apologize for taking so long to get back to you. That's my bad. Was he arrested or convicted?
She took him up.
Arrested or convicted?
I'm arrested.
Here, we'll give this bitch a fucking public eye. How about that? We're gonna make her face known. How about that shit?
Did you find it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Right. We'll go back here. Present. People don't understand. Thanks, Charbatti. I will. All right. I agree, Muff Muff. I will. Charbatti, thanks. People don't understand that we never forget and live with it forever. Jail time is not enough. I couldn't agree with you more, Charbatti. That's what people don't get. That's why I say on here many times that murder is not as bad as committing these acts against children. At least the murder victim only has to go through it one time. I got to relive this shit every day of my life. Every victim, every survivor, every person that's dealt with this has to relive their shit every single day of their life. And it's fucked up. Mom was my biggest supporter. She had my back to the fullest. That's very good. I'm glad she did. My wife's mom, not so much. She had my back to the fullest. Several years later, I got with my husband. I treated him badly. We've been together for 22 years, but it was a lot of trauma. That's why. Yeah. Well, your husband's obviously a good man because he obviously loves you for who you are. You know that. Present, share screen. Let's listen about this bitch. Former Fossil Ridge teacher arrested on sexual assault allegations. This story has been updated to add new information, most recently from Fort Collins Police Services. Editor's note, this story references sexual crimes against children. Resources have been included. A former Fossil Ridge High School teacher was arrested Thursday on accusations of sexual assault on a child. Fossil Ridge families were notified of the arrest Friday evening by an email from Principal Mark Berry. That email said former teacher Brenda Gallagher was arrested following an investigation into inappropriate behavior involving a minor. That investigation began after Padre District staff made a report to the Department of Human Services that another PSD staff member, identified by police as Gallagher, had disclosed having an inappropriate relationship with previous student, according to a news release sent by Fort Collins Police Services on Saturday evening. Gallagher, 49, was arrested by Fort Collins Police Thursday in Wellington and posted his $200,000 cash for surety bond. This isn't the right one, I don't think.
There's another one called.
As of Saturday morning, 2 charges against Gallagher were listed in online court records: unlawful sexual contact involving a child, a class 4 felony. The state statute listed with the charge defines a child as anyone under the age of 18. Sexual assault of a child, charge 2, sexual assault on a child by one in a position of trust, a class 4 felony. The victim's age range listed with the charge is 15 to 18. Both charges listed the same December 2015 offense date. The female victim, identified through the Fort Collins Police Services investigation, was a student taking one of Gallagher's classes in 2015, according to the news release. A statement from PSD School District provided by spokesperson John Cope on Saturday morning said Gallagher taught language arts, TV media production, and leadership classes while working at the Fossil Ridge High School as a Fossil Ridge High School teacher from 2011 to 2024. Gallagher also played a role as a producer of school-wide events, according to his statement. Prior to becoming a teacher in Fossil Ridge, Gallagher held a variety of classified and substitute positions from 2005 to 2007. Cope told the Coloradoan earlier Saturday. Police said the school district put Gallagher on administrative leave immediately after receiving the initial allegation. And Cope told the Coloradoan that Gallagher resigned last school year. We understand the impact this news may have on our community, and our priority remains the safety and well-being of our students. The district said in its statement, counselors and support resources are available for students, staff, and families who may need assistance. We are committed to supporting our school community during this difficult time. That's not the case my wife was talking about, but this is the case my wife was talking about.
You found it?
Yeah, I got it on my phone. Let's kill this page. Go back to my mug. Yeah, my hubby stopped. Yeah, my hubby stopped by me. He went to counseling with me. Stood by you. Okay, yeah. Yeah, my hubby stood by me. He went to my counseling with me to understand what I was going through, and it's been a time. Work at schools, just pray. Yep. Shaking my head. Your husband is a good man, and tell him I said thanks for standing by your side, because that's one thing that we need as victims of this shit. We definitely need the support from people we care about. Colorado teacher arrested, faces several felonies related to communications with teen student, police said. A teacher in Western Colorado has been arrested after investigators say they found inappropriate messages sent to a student. Police in Montrose arrested 44-year-old Lisa Thrine, a teacher at Colorado West Christian School, after a student's father reported communications to police. The student wasn't identified, but police said they were 18. Thrine was arrested on Friday, police said in a Monday statement. Police officials offered few details, but said Thrine faces 2 counts of unlawful electronic sexual communications and a single count each of conspiracy to commit, tampering with physical evidence, and tampering with physical evidence. Investigators say administrators are fully cooperating with the investigation, but are asking anyone with information about the case to reach out to the Montrose Police Department. Thrine was initially booked on a $10,000 bond on Friday, but that was vacated, and she posted a $250 bond on Sunday. Did I read that right?
What?
Thrine was initially booked on a $10,000 bond on Friday, but that was vacated, and she posted a $250 bond on Sunday. Court records show a judge issued a mandatory protective order against Thrine. She's due back in court January 16th for a formal filing, or February 16th for a formal filing of charges. The private school, about 300 miles southwest of Denver, teacher teaches grades K4 through 12. This comes after a Jefferson County School District official was under investigation for possession of child sexual abuse material. He was recently found dead while that investigation was going on. Well, he got justice, didn't he?
Hmm.
How does that make sense? How the fuck does that make sense? You give this bitch a $10,000 bond, and then you vacate it to give her a $250 cash. So it went from $10,000 down to $2,500. 10% of 2,500 is 250. 250 bucks. With that being said, I'm out of here, you guys. I can't do this today no more. I woke up in a bad mood. I went to bed in a bad mood. I woke up in a bad mood, and yeah. So, anyway, yeah, get a hold of me, Muff. I really would appreciate it. Yep, you're right. We do, and we're survivors. Wow, low ass bond. Yeah, right. Yeah, I can get picked up with a weed pipe and get a bond higher than that. And this bitch rapes the child and does this shit with the child, and she gets a $250 cash bond. Ooh, big fucking deal. Anyway, I really got to go before I put my foot in my mouth here real hard. $250 to mess with underage children. Damn shame. Yep. We'll email you when I get off work. Okay, sweetheart. Thank you. I appreciate it. And with that being said, this is GGK. I'm getting out of here. Do me two favors. Number one, try to love one another right now, because you might not get a chance to do so tomorrow. In fact, there are people here today that won't get that chance to do so tomorrow, so we might as well take advantage of it while we can. Number two, tell your friends about me, because you're going to want to know, get to know. Laters. What's up, Beast Mode? Yep, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here, man. I'm pissed off about some shit, so I got to get out of here before I put my foot in my mouth, bro. Later, man.